If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. When you think about the Cleveland Browns heading into the 2025 season, let's be honest, the expectations aren't sky high after going 3-14 last year. There's not a lot of buzz around the Dawg Pound right now. Sure, people are watching Shedeur Sanders with a microscope, and names like Cedric Tillman and Isaiah McGuire are flying around in preseason chatter. But there's one name that's flying completely under the radar, a guy who could sneak up and make a real impact if the cards fall right. His name, Cameron Mitchell. Not a household name by any means. In fact, you probably haven't heard much about him at all. But that might be exactly why he's so intriguing. This isn't just another bench warmer waiting for a miracle. Mitchell is in a prime position to become one of the Browns' breakout players, and almost nobody is talking about it, so let's change that today. Let's start with where Cameron Mitchell sits right now. He's technically behind Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome too, and Martin Emerson Jr. on the Browns' cornerback depth chart. Now, that might not sound promising at first glance. 3 guys ahead of you is no easy hill to climb, but look a little closer and things start to get interesting. Both Newsome and Emerson are entering contract years, which means one of them might not be around by next season. The Browns haven't made any serious moves to bring in new corners this offseason either. That speaks volumes. It tells us that the coaching staff and front office might be looking at Mitchell as more than just a fill-in guy. They're projecting him forward. They're giving him quiet confidence. When an NFL team with a shaky record chooses not to address a key position in free agency or the draft, that's a signal. And in this case, that signal is screaming, watch Cameron Mitchell. Now, let's talk about last season. Mitchell played in all 17 games for Cleveland, which, for a rookie corner selected in the 5th round, is no small feat. He wasn't just collecting a paycheck and sitting on the bench. He logged real NFL action, even if his snap count only accounted for about 34% of the Browns' defensive plays. That means the team trusted him enough to get him on the field consistently, even if he wasn't a starter. And while the stat line might not blow you away when he for tackles and a couple of passes defended, it's not always about numbers. Sometimes it's about development. It's about learning the speed of the game, understanding the schemes, and showing flashes of potential. Mitchell was put in a position to grow, not necessarily to shine. And now, with a full year under his belt and a lot of roster uncertainty ahead of him, his opportunity might finally be on the horizon. Here's the kicker. Cleveland didn't draft any cornerbacks this year. Not one. No undrafted free agents getting attention. No veterans brought in for depth. That's not a mistake. That's a message. This front office has eyes on Mitchell. They believe he's ready to take the next step. When teams don't reinforce a position, it's often because they already feel confident in the guys they have. And Mitchell, who came in as a day 3 pick in 2023, is now on the verge of being asked to do a lot more than just rotate in for a few snaps here and there. The Browns clearly think there's more meat on the bone with this kid. That's why he should be on your radar right now. He might not have been the flashiest college player or the most hyped rookie, but sometimes those are exactly the guys who end up surprising everyone. Speaking of college, Mitchell came out of Northwestern. And if that school sounds familiar in the context of the Browns, it should. That's the same place Greg Newsome came from. In fact, Mitchell and Newsome were teammates there for 2 seasons. That matters. Chemistry doesn't get built overnight. And for a position group as communication heavy as defensive backs, knowing your teammates on a deeper level gives you an edge. While at Northwestern, Mitchell wasn't a superstar, but he was solid, dependable, smart. And those qualities have a funny way of translating really well to the NFL, especially at corner, where instincts, positioning, and football IQ can often trump raw athleticism. He didn't need to be a lockdown corner in college to carve out a future in the league. And clearly, Cleveland saw enough on tape to take him with a valuable 5th-round pick. Let's be real, Mitchell doesn't wow you on paper. He's got average size, decent speed, and good not great athleticism, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. What he does have is balance. He does everything well. He's technically sound. He's rarely out of position. He's the kind of player who earns the trust of coaches because he won't blow a coverage or miss an assignment. That's crucial in a league where one misstep can cost you 6 points. He might not have the tools to become a top-tier corner, but he has the traits to be a steady, reliable presence in the secondary. And on a Browns team that's still figuring out its identity and trying to rebuild the right way, that reliability could become invaluable, especially if some of the bigger names in the secondary don't stick around much longer. One of the most intriguing aspects about Mitchell is the timing. The Browns are in a transitional phase. The roster is full of young talent, question marks, and potential trade pieces. If Greg Newsome or Martin Emerson gets moved before the trade deadline, and let's not act like that's off the table, Mitchell's role could expand significantly. Almost overnight, he's already gotten a taste of NFL speed. He's already been groomed behind quality starters, and now he could be next in line to step into a full-time job. There's no telling what he might do with that opportunity. This isn't a desperate team throwing a rookie into the fire. This is a calculated development plan where the player has quietly climbed the ladder, and now his shot is approaching fast. It's the classic next man up situation, and Mitchell looks ready to answer the call. Training camp is going to be huge for him. Every rep, every drill, every preseason snap, it all matters more for a guy like Mitchell. He's not fighting just for playing time. He's fighting to be a part of the Browns' future. These next few months could define his NFL trajectory. Show out in August, and he might lock down a key rotational role, struggle, and the team might start looking elsewhere. But here's the thing, everything we've seen from Mitchell so far, his college experience, his rookie campaign, his adaptability suggests he's the kind of guy who rises to the moment. He doesn't need to be spectacular, he just needs to be consistent. And for a Browns team searching for some defensive stability, that could be enough to carve out a long-term spot on the roster now. I'm not saying Cameron Mitchell is going to be the next Jalen Ramsey. That's not the argument here. What I am saying is that, for a player with his profile, this is exactly the kind of situation that leads to a quiet breakout, low expectations, minimal spotlight, a clear pathway to more playing time, and a coaching staff that seems to believe in him. That's the formula. And with the Browns entering a make-or-break season, where every positional battle could tip the scales, don't be surprised if Mitchell ends up being one of the biggest surprises on the team. He doesn't have to become a Pro Bowler, he just has to seize his moment when it comes. And I have a feeling that moment is right around the corner. So while everyone's eyes are on Shadur Sanders, on Cedric Tillman, or wondering what the Browns might do at quarterback, I want you to keep one name tucked in the back of your mind: Cameron Mitchell. Watch him closely during the preseason. Check how many first-team reps he gets. See how he looks in man coverage, in zone schemes, and on special teams. Because if he takes that next step, if he earns that trust and delivers on the potential the Browns saw in him back in 2023, he might just become the surprise story of Cleveland's season. And if that happens, you'll be able to say you were ahead of the curve. You knew before anyone else that Cameron Mitchell wasn't just another name on the roster. He was the Browns' best-kept secret. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Hold on to your seats, folks. This Justin ROMEO DOUBS is now officially a Cleveland Brown. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly traded the young wide receiver to the Browns, sending shockwaves through the NFL community. While the details of the trade package remain under wraps, insiders suggest it could involve a combination of draft picks and possibly another player. This move marks a significant shift in the Packers' receiving corps and raises questions about their strategy moving forward. DOUBS, a fourth-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, has shown flashes of brilliance during his time in Green Bay. In his first season, he recorded 59 receptions for 674 yards and 8 touchdowns. However, his performance dipped in the following year, with only 46 catches for 601 yards and 4 touchdowns. Despite these numbers, his potential has always been evident, leading many to believe he could thrive in a new environment. The Packers' decision to part ways with DOUBS comes amid a crowded wide receiver room. With the emergence of players like Christian Watson and the addition of rookie Matthew Golden, the team may have felt that DOUBS was expendable. Additionally, DOUBS' contract situation could have played a role in the decision, as the Packers may have been looking to free up cap space for other moves. For the Browns, acquiring DOUBS presents an opportunity to bolster their receiving corps. With Amari Cooper's future in Cleveland uncertain, DOUBS could step in as a reliable target for quarterback Deshaun Watson. His size, speed, and route running ability make him a valuable asset, and he could develop into a key contributor for the Browns' offense. This trade also signals a shift in the Packers' approach to team building. By moving DOUBS, they are signaling a commitment to their younger receivers and a focus on developing talent from within. It's a bold move that could pay off in the long run. but only time will tell if it was the right decision. As for Dubs, this trade represents a fresh start and a chance to prove himself in a new system. He'll have the opportunity to work with a new coaching staff and build chemistry with a new quarterback. If he can harness his potential and stay healthy, Dubs could become a breakout star in Cleveland. The NFL offseason has been full of surprises, and this trade is one of the most unexpected developments. It raises questions about the Packers' future plans and the Browns' intentions moving forward. As more details emerge, fans and analysts alike will be closely watching to see how this trade impacts both teams. In the coming days, expect to hear more about the specifics of the trade and how Dubs fits into the Browns' offensive scheme. For now, all we know is that Romeo Dubs is no longer a Packer, he's a Cleveland Brown. Stay tuned for more updates as this story develops. In the meantime, fans of both teams are left to speculate about the future. Will Dubs flourish in Cleveland? Or will the Packers' decision prove to be a mistake? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the NFL landscape has shifted once again. As always, we'll keep you updated with the latest news and analysis on this developing story. Until then, keep your eyes peeled for more trades, signings, and surprises as the NFL offseason continues to unfold. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!